All right, y'all. Episode 39, You Be Aiight. Wow. 39 episodes, almost at 40. Almost at a year, actually. I think we started in October something of 2020. Whew. A
Yeah,
year. This year has been, time doesn't make any sense anymore. I can't keep track of like 2020 and 2021. They're like the same year to me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can't tell if something happened like in July of 2020 or 2021. Like, it's so weird. It's so weird.
I mean, at this point, it doesn't even make a difference to be
No,
tracking
no.
anymore. Like it just, I say the other day could be like 2 days ago, or it could be 20 months ago.
Yeah. I mean, who would have? What did you? I'm trying to think. Like, think of yourself in February 2020. I mean, how would you describe the next 18 months to yourself if you could go back in time? What would you tell yourself in February 2020 if you were going to like warn yourself of the next 18 months?
That's a good question. Before I answer, I would just say, as I answer the question, you should check your mic.
Oh, is my mic
If-
weird?
I,
It's not coming
I
through the
think,
Yeti.
yeah, I think I don't think it's coming through, but maybe it is. I don't know, but
Let's
um,
see. It says
but
it's on the
um,
Yeti.
I actually remember February 2020 because part of that month, I was in New York City. That was when I saw Hamilton and Broadway. That was kind of like when it was, COVID was already spreading, and but no, it, it wasn't taken seriously at that time. Like nobody really thought it was gonna it was gonna be what it ended up being. So I remember thinking in February, actually, I um I had planned to go to some sort of a retreat in April or May,
Mm-hmm.
and the plans for that retreat was still going on, as if even all through March, right? Like when things started shutting down, we're thinking, oh, maybe that's gonna just be like a month, like a 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, that
Yeah,
kind of thing.
man.
So it was one of those things where I don't think anyone could have wrapped their minds around uh how the subsequent couple of months went, in terms of being it just feels unreal. Like it feels like you're not of this world, because we're so used to living a certain way, and things like that. I don't know what advice or what I'll be telling my future self. um one thing that I would say is I liked a little bit the fact that at the beginning of the pandemic there was some sort of calm and quiet.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yeah,
remember I would go for long walks, and I would just be like, wow, like um it's the air feels different. Like, you can,
yeah,
the Houston skyline at the time was in Houston, like used to be always foggy and everything. And I'm like, I will come in like, everything seems so clear, the skies are so clear. And of course, I started reading about how in other parts of the world, like in India, some of these places that typically just different parts of the world, China,
mm-hmm.
places that just went under lockdown, how the air quality just became a lot better just for the time periods. All of the animals came out to play, and there was all these nice pictures and all of that stuff. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of like that time period. Like I feel like every year or maybe every 18 months, the world should stop, should go, self-imposed quarantine,
Mm-hmm.
and do that for a month.
Yeah.
So
No, I agree. I agree.
and
Is my
use that to
microphone?
reset. Yeah,
Yeah,
go.
I agree. Is my microphone any better, by the way, or no? Is it still weird?
maybe it's fine, but go ahead.
Yeah, it just might be just I don't know. Um, but I agree. I miss the beginning part. Like I miss quarantine. Obviously, like sure, I don't want the pandemic, but I think we should. I'd take it a step further. I said we should go into quarantine every other month. Like out 1 month, then we go back in. Like just do that. I would be fine for the rest of our lives if we literally every other month just went inside and just had quarantine and
And I
calmed the
feel
fuck
like if
down.
that was the thing, people will really live their life
Mm-hmm. And then
because
yeah,
the
yeah,
month that you are out, man,
yeah, yeah. Yep. Yeah. People would live their lives. Then you get a chance to reflect on what just happened. Uh, you know.
my sense is there could be some sort of fatigue though if it's that frequent. Maybe once every 6 months.
Mm,
You do it every 6 months, and then you get to go into you get to quarantine.
yeah, just go inside. Yeah, I don't know. I thrived, like, to be honest, in quarantine. Like I really did. Like I was able to just just take a break from everything. I was on Duolingo. I was like, man, I'm gonna learn Mandarin, and I was working out more consistently, and
Meow.
I had like a whole schedule. I didn't have to like see people. I felt guilty how much I enjoyed it, man. It was like the act of being home and not going out and not having any pressure to go out. Oh man, oh, I loved it. I miss it. To be honest, I don't miss like the quarantine part, like the stressful part of people dying and all that. But quarantine, the act of quarantine, shit, give that to me again, please.
I
So,
kind of one thing I found out was for me, not a lot changed for me. The only because I didn't do much outside of home anyway.
hmm
But the few things that I did were the things that kind of like like I would go out and play music. I enjoyed dancing, and I would do that maybe once a week because I worked from home even prior to the pandemic. So it wasn't there wasn't there, there wasn't a lot for me to miss. But for the I would say for the first couple of months, I
hmm
was fine. But subsequently, I started just to feel like I miss um some of the things I used to do, like just go out and play music and dance and just things like that. But I I still haven't done it though, so I'm fine. Like
you get used to it after a while.
exactly, like
You're
you
just
get
like,
used to.
that'd be all right. Like one thing I don't do anymore is go to the gym. We have stuff at home, so I've been like working out, and I'm just like, what we have home is fine enough. We have some dumbbells and um, some stuff, so I just do stuff at home. And like honestly, I sometimes I miss it, but not enough to actually like go back. I went back one time. Um, to run on the treadmill when the weather was bad. But outside of that, I haven't been, you know, since God March of 2020. It's weird. It's something I used to do all the time, but I'm just out of the habit because like I'm not working out. I'm not working at the office, and I'm not out and about as much, and it just seems like such a hassle when I could just do some stuff from home.
I feel like gyms are a waste of time and money. If even though, and and the reason I say so is so there are two things. One, for some people, and I'm probably part of that as well. Like if you get into a routine where you have to go out and do something and you stick to that routine, maybe for some people it actually motivates them to exercise, right? Like if you,
hmm
but just if you just think in the grand scheme of life, right? Like what do you need? You don't need weights. Like, you don't need to build whatever. If you keep moderately active and you eat not too bad, I'm not saying you just eat moderately okay, and you have a few things at home that you do.
Yeah,
That's all you need. Like it's not like you're trying to compete for Mr. Universe or something. Or like it,
yeah.
that's
For
just
your average person, right? You're just trying to stay in shape. you can run outside, you can do body weight stuff, like I have some dumbbells and stuff, I have a pull-up bar, but you don't even necessarily, need that. There's just so much you can do from home that, I've still stayed relatively in the same shape. I might not be able to lift as heavy of weights because I'm not like in the gym, but again, I'm fine with it. Like I'm not.
Why do you need to be able to bench 300 pounds? Like,
I don't know, man. The apocalypse is coming, so maybe I will. Who knows? But yeah, no, I'm happy with the shape I'm in, and I think it was just more of like people found community at the gym, or it just became like a place that they would go where they would just something they enjoyed doing. And I thought I was gonna miss it more than I do, and sometimes I'm like, I want to go back, but again, it's just not enough. I don't care enough to do it. I'm like, but there's something here. I could just do push-ups or squats or whatever here. Like you don't even need anything. So, and plus running, like I run outside. Once we didn't have gyms, I don't have a treadmill, so I would just have to run outside. I just got used to just dealing with whatever the weather was, whether it was cold or whatever, and it was fine. So, and I actually like it better because you get like scenery and get to be outside, and so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
But
anyway,
yeah.
Have you? So there was this clip that I, this is just switching topics a little bit. Do you know who Ben Shapiro is?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like what? Like if I say Ben Shapiro, what comes to your mind?
Conservative podcaster, very popular conservative podcaster.
That's it. Like,
he has those videos where he's online, in quotes, destroying liberal college students in arguments about trans people, and it's like, dude, these people are. It's not. They're, first of all, they're edited in a way that makes them look great, but also they're college students. Like I could destroy them in a lot of arguments. But anyway, yeah. What did he say now?
Okay, so there was this so what he said now was there was this what you would call it, this clip of him where he actually, I'll just let it run. He basically, I'll just let it run. I'll let it run, and I will see what you have to say afterwards. He's so every now and then, this was a guy that wrote a book against porn.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know he wrote a whole book against porn, but
he wrote a whole book against
porn. That doesn't surprise me.
Some time ago, and anyway, and every now and then it will have these clips about sex that just goes viral, and it's just kind of ridiculous.
I remember he had the thing about the song WAP with Beyonce, and not Beyonce, Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B had that WAP song last summer.
I know, right?
Yeah.
What is a anyway?
He's not a fan of WAP apparently, or has never seen it before, which makes sense.
I know he's probably
he's confused. He's like, confused by it.
He wouldn't do it WAP when he only knows DAP.
He does it. Yeah. Yeah. Very DAP. That's all he knows. It's all he's ever seen. So that's hilarious.
All right, here we go.
Let's see. Maybe turn it up a little bit.
Screwing up her name, but frankly, I don't care because I really don't know very much who she is. Apparently, she's some sort of model.
Yeah, I hear it now.
And then we had Cara Delevingne.
You can hear?
Yeah.
Up her name, but frankly, I don't care because I really don't know very much who she is. Apparently, she's some sort of model. And here, she was modeling a bib/straitjacket. I don't know what this top is supposed to be. And it says, "Peg the patriarchy." Oh, the courage. Oh, the stunning courage and bravery. Peg the patriarchy. Pegging, of course, is an obscure sexual practice in which women perform the more aggressive sexual act on men.
Yo, he's he's funny as hell. Like, we got to give it to him. He's actually really funny.
Again, is when a woman instead
The
of
more aggressive form of oh man.
Do you think so? This is my question. Do you think he knows what pegging is?
I think he just looked it up before his interview, and was like, "Oh my god!" Well, apparently this is the so pegging is blah, 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 and it's the most aggressive form of blah, 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 which she's wearing a bib. I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, clearly, I don't know, but yeah, he's actually funny as hell. What did he say that was like? He said a lot of crazy things. I'm trying to think. Is there something specifically he said? Oh, there are these videos. Oh man, they're so funny. It's by this comedian named Kyle Dunnigan, and he makes these videos called "The Fresh Prez of DC," and he's making fun of Joe Biden, Hunter Biden.
Going to say the fresh waps of BC.
No. It is like I'm gonna send them to you on Instagram. I had heard about them. Like, I can't be that funny. But anyway, in the sketches, like what is his name? Ben Shapiro is like a character in it. He's like he's like Joe Biden's butler. It's it's hilarious. Like, it's really, really funny. I'm going to send them to you. You'll love it. But basically he uses that technology, that like face swap technology, where you can kind of like, I could like use your face and like kind of use CGI. It doesn't look that realistic, but like,
I think they called something.
What is it called?
Deep
fakes. Yeah. He uses deep fakes, and good God, is the funniest thing I've ever seen. It's so good. And him making fun of Ben Shapiro, it's really good. So I'll send that to you.
Talking about deep. But anyway, when I saw that clip, I was like, this is hilarious as hell. Like,
oh my God.
to like describe what pegging is. Peg the patriot.
I could listen to Ben Shapiro describe different sexual acts all day and see how he would what words he would use. Oh man. Oh, the Met Gala. I mean, yeah. I will agree that the Met Gala is fucking ridiculous. So I will make fun of anyone who's at the Met Gala.
Was that just the same one? I think I saw a photo going on the internet where was it Kim K that wore something
all black? Yeah. She's just like the Grim Reaper. I don't know what these people are doing. You know, people are dressed like Pez dispensers at the Met Gala. I don't know what's going on, but I look at it, I'm like, it's so annoying. I hate everyone who's dressed up at that thing. They're wearing, I don't know, but
it is rich people, you know.
Yeah, it's like, you just, you know, they have the time and money and whatever, but it's pretty ridiculous.
Right. Cool. Well, so there goes my next question for you. So when are you really opening for Dave Chappelle? I mean, you've been opening.
When am I opening for Dave Chappelle? I man, that would be great. The sooner the better. That would be amazing. I'd probably shit my pants if that ever happened. But I didn't open for Dave Chappelle. But the funny thing was, I did open for Dave Chappelle's mentor, which it's like, all right, maybe Lai needs to keep speaking these things into existence. I'm just gonna like ask that you keep saying stuff like that, because it was pretty cool. He was hilarious. Tony Woods, if you don't know, Tony Woods is a comedian from DC who has influenced Dave Chappelle. Like, Dave Chappelle shouted him out at the when Dave Chappelle won the Mark Twain Award in 2019. Tony Woods was there in the audience, and Dave Chappelle shouted Tony Woods out and said, you know, before he figured out how to be himself, he was trying to be just like Tony Woods. So in the comedy community, he's a big deal. A lot of people don't know who Tony Woods is, but to comics, you know, he's
never heard of him.
Yeah. But he's super like low key. I had seen him as growing up on like Comic View. I don't know do you even know what Comic View is?
Hell yeah! Like
Comic View on
wasn't that
BET.
Ricky Smiley?
Yeah, I think he was on BET, coming at you 6 nights a week, get your laugh on. Yeah, so like I watched that all growing up. So I had seen him on that. He'd been on Def Jam. You know, he's had some like I think he had a Comedy Central something. But he's super low key. You wouldn't really know who he is unless you were super into comedy. In fact, when I brought him up on stage, I asked if he had any specific plugs that he wanted me to say, and he was like, "Nah, man, just Tony Woods from DC." I was like, "All right," but he was super cool. Yeah, that was fun. That was really cool to see him perform. He was really, really good.
So were you the only one that opened for him, or were there other people on the show?
It was me and a few other comics. I was like the host, so I did like 15 minutes up top, and then I brought up all the other comics, and we had a couple people do like 5-6 minutes each, and then we had a feature guy who did about 20 minutes. His name is Alan Massenberg. He's a Philly comic who recently moved up to New York, but he's very funny too. I already knew him beforehand. But so he did his stuff, and then he brought up Tony Woods, and it was funny because like when Alan and I met Tony backstage, you know, we like we shook his hand, and you know, like hey, like nice to meet you. Like the club owner like introduced us to him. We're like, hey, nice to meet you. And then we like didn't know what else to say, and then we kind of just like stopped. We kind of just walked away. And and it was like we're in our heads. We're like. I don't know how Alan felt, but I was like, man, I hope that wasn't too awkward. He was like Tony Woods was like wearing a mask. It was like outside. It was dark. I was like, I don't know. I don't have anything else to say. And then we didn't like walk away, but we kind of like, I guess maybe turned away. But it was funny because when Tony Woods got up there, he was like, he was just making fun of everything, the stage, the everything. And then at some point he was like, yeah. And then when I met the comics, backstage, you know, usually, you know, we talked for a little bit, but they just were like shook my hand and then just walked away, and everyone was like cracking up, and I was like, that is so fucking funny. Oh man, but he was super cool. He was super cool. Yeah, that was definitely a highlight so far, I guess, of my career, was getting to work with him. And you can see Dave Chappelle had a huge influence on Dave Chappelle. You can definitely see that. Check him out, y'all. If you're into comedy, check him out. He's got some funny stuff. But like live is best. But he's got some stuff online. He's pretty funny.
Cool. I would check him out.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you, you know, and this is again switching topics a little bit. Well, a lot. Did you see the whole thing with Nicki Minaj this past week?
I heard about it. I didn't watch it in depth, but I do generally know what's going on with her cousin. I was surprised it made it to like CNN and all these news networks.
Well, that's interesting. Why were you surprised?
Because who cares what Nicki Minaj is talking about with her cousin's balls? I don't know. It was just weird that was on the news. But I maybe I just haven't watched the news in a long time. But I saw some Daily Show clip where you know how they show like how all the different news channels are talking about something. So I saw that all of these news people had something to say, and like Joy Reid is talking about. I'm like, this is crazy. But anyway, yeah. Why were you not surprised? I guess. Why did you think this was appropriate to be on on the news station? I
don't know if appropriate is the word. I think the reason why I'm not surprised, because first of all, these news stations, they don't have anything else to cover, right? Like
it's so ridiculous. Yeah.
Like, what? So I've not been following news, but I'm not surprised because one, they don't have anything to cover, but two, if you're gonna give them the benefit of the doubt as to why they covered it, is probably because they're saying, okay, Nicki Minaj has like, I don't know, 20, 30 million followers on Twitter. Mm-hmm. And, you know, you're in a situation where you're trying to get many people vaccinated, as many people as possible. And, you know, you just feel like for someone like you can't just, from a public safety, public health point of view, you can't just someone like Nicki Minaj. It's one thing if this is, you know, Nikki Haley that just said it, and you know, you can ignore her. But this is Nicki Minaj, and you can't just have that be out there and let that be memed and that be a thing. It can easily take on a life of its own,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like if you just let it be, and everybody, man, you heard that? It's making people's. I mean, and if you don't want men to take something, tell them that it's gonna make their balls smaller or it's gonna make them impotent. Like
Right.
if that becomes a thing, forget it. Like nobody's taking it. So
Yeah.
so I think that is what
They
given.
tried to squash it and
Yeah,
just
they,
make her look like an idiot, which they achieved. It's funny though how you were saying like something from an actual politician. You could just ignore that, but you can't ignore something from a rapper, which is true. It's sad but true because she has way more influence than Nikki Haley will ever have. But yeah,
yeah, I mean, you have Sarah Palin that went on there saying, what did she even say? I don't even remember, but yeah,
did she retweet Nikki and say that's right? You're damn right.
I don't even know. There was something. I think she said she's not vaccinated because she believes in science, something like that. We're like, what guy?
Wait, she's not vaccinated because she believes in science.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. But yeah. For those who don't know, Nicki Minaj posted a tweet saying that people need to be careful about the vaccine because her cousin in Trinidad,
Not a cousin's friend.
a cousin's friend in Trinidad took the vaccine and his balls got swollen and he became impotent. And she was saying
and the fiance
and the fiance, yeah, he was engaged, and his fiance left him, which is that she put this dude on blast. Like that's a lot. That's a lot.
I'm like, first of all, I feel sorry for that dude, right? Because
that
person exists.
Yeah, he's a real person. He's like, could you not tell the world that my balls are swollen and that my girl left me and all this shit?
But you know what? I think, can we speculate about what happened? Does this make me a bad guy? I don't care.
Nah.
I think what happened was this guy probably was messing around. I got some sort of STD or something.
Yeah, that's what I saw that. That was like the main retweet. It was like, you do know that this could easily be, actually it more likely is an STD as opposed to the vaccine, because that's just not a thing. I've never heard that, unless a lot of people walking around with swollen balls are keeping it to themselves. But I've never heard that one. There's no evidence for that other than this ridiculous tweet about Nicki Minaj's cousin's friend in Trinidad. But
the minister of health or something like that in Trinidad had to come out. Like his press conference, basically his statement was so hilarious. Like, we wasted all our time chasing this down and we saw nothing.
Oh my gosh. That is so ridiculous. Oh man. Yeah, I did hear a little bit about that story. And what did Nicki Minaj say when people were like telling her it's probably not the vaccine? Did she respond? Kind of.
Basically was doubling down, and of course you had like Tucker Carlson and all these other folks kind of like got on the Nicki Minaj.
Now they're Nicki Minaj fans.
Yeah, now they like rappers. They're trying to.
Yeah.
I'm like, when Common. Remember when Common was gonna? I'm like, when they said Common was a thug or gangster. I'm like, gangster rapper.
Common is fucking rapping in Gap commercials. Like, are you serious?
Like, Common, a gangster rapper.
Common is like the least threatening rapper that has ever existed. But I do remember that because he just disagreed with them politically, which makes all this stuff so stupid. It's like, I hate how political this thing has become, how anything has become. But all of a sudden, Nicki Minaj is like a conservative hero because she said something stupid on Twitter. But I don't know. But I don't think it makes your balls big and it makes you impotent. But I don't know. What are these theories are ridiculous. But anyway,
They be aight.
They be all the way aight.
But anyway, did you hear there was this story that I thought was hilarious? That I heard. This was about Trump, of course. Remember there was that recall that happened in California. They were trying to
Uh,
recall the governor. Anyway, that's it's unimportant.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And but there was this story that came out about how Trump um was going to unfriend Mike Pence.
Why?
Okay, just maybe let's play this clip and um yeah. So this will be about maybe a minute or 2 minutes long, and I'm just gonna start from the middle of nowhere, and we'll see how this goes.
Okay.
Pence refused the former president's request, saying no.
So let me back up a little
Wouldn't
bit.
it be cool?
So this was basically where they were saying, Trump was trying to have Pence change the elections, right? Like, the whole thing that led to the January 6th insurrection thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we take it from there.
Pence refused the former president's request, saying no. So that's when Trump got angry, all right? And that's when the threats started rolling in, okay? He apparently responded to Pence by saying, no, you don't understand, Mike. You can do this. If you don't do it, I picked the wrong man 4 years ago. You're going to wimp out. Whatever. That stuff is like, it's a clown show. We got it, right? Still not worth bringing this up on the show today, right? But then I saw this video, and it's just too good. Let's watch.
The book also quotes Trump as telling his always loyal Vice President Mike Pence that if he didn't refuse to certify the election results, quote, I don't want to be your friend anymore.
Wow.
I mean, I've seen that clip like 5 times.
Did when was this when was this?
This
Was this back in
So this was back in
like
when the election there was
January or like
this was,
late?
Yeah, this was back in January, but this just came out, right? Like he told this guy that he's like, I don't want to be your friend anymore.
Oh my gosh, he's probably not his friend anymore. I don't know.
Oh my God.
Who knows?
But anyway,
I wonder what happened to Mike Pence.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know, man.
I don't even. I didn't know who the hell he was before.
You did not know him? That it was the governor of
No, I mean I knew that once he came out, but I mean, I didn't care about Indiana politics or wherever the fuck he's from. So, yeah, that's wild. But I feel like that's a lot of vice presidents. It's like, who the fuck is this person? And now all of a sudden they're like the second most important person in the country.
So I've been getting a few people that I know that are vaccine hesitant. They've been sending me things, basically trying to convince me that vaccines cause injury or death or whatever the case may be. Those kind of things. And I'm kind of like, how do you respond to them?
That vaccines cause injury. It's like, well, show me one person where that's
no, but
show me a person you know.
But that's not even the case. But even if it is, so I'm thinking to myself, okay, like medicine, any kind, they have side effects, right? Like, yeah, maybe, but like how do you get to these people? Like, I'm really baffled. I've been reading something about, so now you have these folks that are anti-vaxxers, as more and more people that are not vaccinated are dying. Instead of them taking a step back and say, oh man, maybe we've been wrong. What they're now saying is that the doctors are the ones that are killing them.
Wait, so they're not vaccinated. They go into the hospital and the doctors just shoot them. Is that the theory? What's
So
like?
either that or like the doctors are not giving them ivermectin or some other or some other nonsense that they claim treats this thing.
Interesting.
So
Yeah.
they are not the one that is in it. I mean, I'm like, so you are in a perpetual loop, right? Like there is not going to be a point where they're like, ooh, that's wrong. I mean, it seemed like initially at the beginning, earlier this year, more people were like, man, I wish I'd taken the vaccine, da 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 da. But now they're not saying that anymore. A lot of people, and a lot of those people, they're saying, oh, the doctors are not treating us because of X, Y, or Z. I'm like, this is.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing you can say. It's just like at this point, they're adults, and it's like people are gonna. I'm always curious though, as to how people start believing things like conspiracy theories, but that doesn't even have to be a conspiracy theory. Like, where do we get like common wisdom from? That's not based off of anything other than just kind of what someone said. Do you know what I mean? So it's a lesson in that too. It's like how ideas spread, and sometimes ideas are good things, and beliefs can be powerful things. I think to help move us forward as humans, but I've never been like a big conspiracy person, and so yeah, I mean, but it's powerful. There's nothing you can do. It's just like it's kind of just what I feel, and I'm going to only look for information that confirms my bias, and I'm sure I do it with things too. I mean, not with the vaccine, but with other things. So, it's crazy. There's nothing you can really say. You can't be like, that's ridiculous. It's like, no, it's not. Okay, well, we don't have anything to talk about anymore. like you really think that unvaccinated people are going into hospitals and doctors are just like strangling them on the table or just like ignoring them and not giving them the proper care? For what reason? I mean, it's like, really, let's think about it for a second. Why would a doctor risk their entire medical career? But I guess there's just no trust in any in institutions generally. They think there's a larger conspiracy among medical professionals to, I don't know, like a political conspiracy to try to harm unvaccinated people so that they can prove that they're right, that vaccines work, and that unvaccinated people should have gotten the vaccine. So they're trying to kill. I don't know, man. I don't know. What do you have you? So how many people do you know? Are these people you see online, or are these people you know in your life?
No, people that I know.
Oh wow.
So I'm thinking just of two people.
That's still too many. But
I mean, it doesn't. Like I don't even I don't care.
Yeah, it's just like, all right, dude, if that's what you if that's what you think, but like someone very close to you who is an actual doctor. Could you imagine that person strangling or whatever, or not strangling, or just not helping someone for political reasons? It just doesn't.
Not just that. Like, it's just. Even if I didn't know anyone that's a doctor, right? Like, it's like you have all this data and they just don't believe in the data. They just say, these are all falsified, these are all lies. I mean, it's just it's down to the point where it's actually sad.
Yeah,
so like
I'm
not even
you're not even mad. You're just upset. Yeah. You're just like, damn, that's
like I just take a step back. I'm just like, wow, like this is just so sad.
Right.
Like it is so sad. And that is really what I feel more than anything. That this is now where you are. Where because I'm actually one that I'm a skeptical person by nature, and I don't necessarily dismiss conspiracy theories just because I may think it's crazy, but I will just, sometimes I will be like, you know what, maybe there is a 2% chance that could be the case. Like I may not necessarily just say that is like ha 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 ha, but because sometimes I'll be like, okay, even if vaccines cost this or they cost that or blah blah blah, okay, like let me even grant you that, like because that is how I approach conversations with these people. It's not to say,
Mhm.
you know I know for sure that is
Right. Yeah, I don't know anything ultimately.
exactly.
Like, don't get me
So,
wrong. I'm an idiot.
ex-
But
ex-
neither does that person. So you have to make your best guess based off the information you have.
exactly. But so that's the thing. I'm like, what you need to be able to do as a human being that navigate this world is to be able to sift through information and make decisions based on incomplete information. Like, when do you say, I've had enough? And the funny thing is, when you talk to these folks, okay, so there is one of them that I talk to is like even if, the only way that, take it is if Trump took it. And I'm like, okay, but Trump took the vaccine. Well, if we took it on camera, but then I'll have to know that that's what they injected in his body. I'm like, so you then stop. You're
Right.
you're an idiot. You're not gonna. You're not
Yeah.
gonna. It's not. You just stop lying to yourself that you're gonna do this. You're not gonna do it. The only way that people like that learn is by experience. And even at that, they may still not learn because, like I said, they're now blaming other people for their own, um, you know, for their own negligence. But the only way that they learn is from their own experience. I mean, isn't it like 5, 6, 7 conservative, um, like talk show folks, like radio hosts or whatnot, that have died over the last couple of months?
Yeah.
And I mean, and those are the prominent folks, not to talk of just
Right. Not to
regular.
talk about just like random folks.
Yeah,
Yeah. Just people who like said something out loud on Twitter or on their podcast. They were like, man, fuck the vaccines. And it's like 2 weeks later they died. Like someone posted a clip of someone posted I think maybe we talked about this last time, but someone posted a status and they were like, they were liberal and they were like, so this is the tweet from a person 3 weeks ago. And the person was comparing the US to Nazi Germany because they were making people get vaccines. And then the person said 3 weeks later, this person died of COVID. And she said, I ask that you don't laugh at this, but I am wondering what do we do to get to these people? I was like, well, not laughing is very hard because that you couldn't make that up. Like, I can't believe that's a real thing that happened. Like, he compared it to Nazis and then he literally died 3 weeks later. Like, I'm sorry, that's hilarious. But I don't know what you do at that point. Like, I don't know how you get to people. I mean, and it's unfortunate, but it's like, you're an adult. I don't, and, like, all right. So yeah, I don't know.
I mean, the next COVID cure now is people are trying to drink iodine. Like, that's the next thing.
Everyone wants to be smarter than experts. You know what I mean? Everyone wants to be like, I know better than someone who actually studies this, which doesn't make sense to me. Like, I'm not saying they're always right. I'm not saying that their heart's always in the right place. I'm not saying these are perfect people. Same way I don't think, lawyers are perfect people. But like, I do know that if someone is, let's say someone's been a partner at a big law firm for 20 years, I do know that person knows more about law than I do. Are they going to always get everything right or argue the way I would want them to argue or whatever? No, but I'm not going to trust some random person on YouTube about the law over someone who's been practicing for like 40 years. It just doesn't make sense to me.
And that's the funny thing, right? Like, they believe in rando on the internet.
I could just start a channel and they would believe me first if I had on convincing music and I just like came at us from a certain angle that already confirmed a lot of biases. I could say anything. I could just make up words that aren't even scientific, and they'd be like, that makes sense. See, this guy's telling the truth. This guy is not falling for it. And I don't know. I also, for me, my calculus was I just wanted to get back to normal. I didn't give a shit. I was just like, just give me the vaccine. I don't want to talk about this thing anymore. Put it in me, and I want to be able to go out, live my life, and I just want this thing to be over with. So maybe I'll lose a leg in 2 years. I actually don't give a fuck right now. I just, for me, like the small risk that this is actually going to have long-term effects on me wasn't as onerous as the effects of getting COVID or us staying in the pandemic longer. I was like, I'll take the small risk that something happens to me. It could. I mean, anything could happen. You could get hit by a bus tomorrow. That could happen, or today, or while we're doing the podcast, a bus could just come in here right now. I don't know. Who knows? But to me, it's like you got to get on. You got to move on with your life. I feel like we always end up talking about unvaccinated people. They be aight though. But I mean, look, if you're not vaccinated, I know you're gonna be like, well, that's my right. It is your right, but quarantine yourself. It's your right. Just stay out of the public. Yeah, no, it's people are gonna do what they want to do. They think I'm a sheep or something. I'm just following the government and trusting the government too much. And look, I don't trust the government with everything they do. Who does? That would be crazy to trust the government with everything they do. But this isn't really about the government. You have to think about it. Why would scientists not want to create a vaccine? And sure, the drug companies will make money off of it. Again, kind of like what we were talking about. Why wouldn't they? Of course, we live in a capitalistic society. But there's also the incentive to just get the world back on track. So I don't know.
I mean, and that was the thing. I mean, I was like, look, like people are going to make money off of this. I said, yeah. Like, I mean, for me, I would rather have pharmaceutical companies be nationalized, but as long as they are, of course, this is an opportunity for someone to make money. Like they're like, oh, there are billionaires that were created out of this pandemic. Yeah, but that doesn't mean that the drugs that they created doesn't work. Just the fact that they could make money or they're going to make a ton of money off of it is a separate issue. If we're going to say, you know what, we don't want people to make money off of healthcare or pharmaceuticals, that's a separate question. And I'm down to have that conversation. Like I said, I would rather have these companies to be nationalized. I don't understand how they use a ton of government resources for R&D and all of this stuff. And then once this thing is done, they just get to, they get to just hoard all of the profits for themselves. So I think there has to be a way to make that a little more, a little more socialist, so to speak. So yeah, that's a separate question. But to now take that leap and say, okay, so therefore, some people are making money off of something.
It's like you do realize people make money off of literally everything.
I hope exactly that's one, and I hope you know that.
Yeah,
the virus doesn't give a fuck about you.
At all. Yeah. Yeah.
What you want about the virus? Like it does not care.
It does not care, and literally everything you do, someone's making money off of it. The clothes you're wearing, the technology you're on, you get something from Amazon. I mean, it's just like, I don't care. It does that, but like you said, how does that mean it doesn't work? And also, I'm wondering what the alternative is. It's like, okay, so what do you want? People not to get vaccinated, and then for more people to get sick and die? Is that what you're fighting for? That's a weird thing to be for. You know what I mean? Like, what is the alternative? Like, to wait until, I mean, it's always the Pfizer one's been FDA approved. I just don't understand what the alternative is here. What do you want? I mean, instead of using this modern technology and medicine that we have and being like, oh, thank God we live in 2021 and not fucking 1821 or something, and thank God I don't have smallpox right now. It's like, you'd rather, it just doesn't make sense to me. I don't get it. I know I keep talking shit about unvaccinated people, and if any of the listeners are unvaccinated, then I'm talking shit about you. Be aight. But I'm very curious to know. Maybe if anyone's unvaccinated out there, they could explain to us what you want. Like what world do you want to live in? I'm just confused because I guarantee you if you're not vaccinated, you have several vaccines running through your veins right now. Because you wouldn't have been able to go to school or college without it. I know you have so many vaccines in you right now. Because you're not walking around with tuberculosis or whatever.
The funny thing is, going back to Nicki Minaj, he actually said she's gonna get a vaccine because she's going on tour.
She doesn't have balls either, so it's not a concern for her.
Oh my god, that was funny. Like, yeah, your ass is gonna get the vaccine. And
she has the vaccine. She can get the vaccine. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, like
It's such a dumb urban legend. Oh, it makes your balls big. I mean, how stupid is that? Like, that people would actually believe that. What? Of all things it could do, you really think that's a fucking side effect, that it makes your balls big and you impotent? It's just, but then again, I don't know. Maybe I'm an idiot. Maybe, I'm impotent and whatever. So like, joke's on me. Oh man, who knows? But these people are, oh man, they're crazy. But do you changing subjects, have you been traveling at all, or plan on going anywhere?
Not been traveling. I was in France in August.
Oh, that's right. How was that?
What was that?
How was France?
It was fine. I mean, at the time, that was when the French government was instituting basically for everyone to have like a COVID passport to access anything. Like, they made it so difficult. Like, if you're not vaccinated, they're not forcing you to vaccinate. It's not mandatory. But for you to go into any restaurant, any building, any whatever, you have to get a vaccine passport, or you have to get tested every 2 days.
Oh God, yeah, wild.
So I mean, you can imagine, like, we're like, oh my God. And I think the testing is free. Actually, yeah, I think the testing, but it's such an inconvenience because you have these long lines, right? And it's like, if you have to go, so they said we don't have a vaccine mandate.
But yeah, your life is.
It was so funny. I saw on TV, they were interviewing someone. She was like, yeah, she was a little hesitant, and the government said they don't have a mandate. But like, what do you mean you don't have a mandate? Like, this is a mandate. Like, what are you supposed to do? You have to get tested every 2 days.
You're not allowed to go outside. You can't go to the grocery store. We're gonna turn your water off, turn your electricity off, but you don't have to get it. Yeah, you have no Wi-Fi, but you don't have to get it though.
It was funny, but I think even since then, the infection rates, it's gone the opposite way. Like, it's gone down.
Okay.
More people have gotten. I mean, people that are doubted the vaccine. Maybe we don't know something. Like, in 3 years from now, we're going to find out that this thing was, oh my God, what did they inject in us? Maybe.
Right.
But what is true is that it helps against this coronavirus. So
yeah,
that maybe there is some other thing that will happen down the line that we're going to be like, damn, we should have taken our chances.
Yeah. Yeah. All I know is people die from COVID. I have yet to see someone I know or a close story of someone just dying from the vaccine. But there was like 2 people, I think, like a long time ago, not a long time ago, but like when the vaccine first came out, they had like blood clots and I think they died or something like that. And I think they said it was related to the vaccine. But the person was also morbidly obese. I mean, it's not like, and they had like a lot of other complicated comorbidities. So it wasn't just like, this was someone who was, in perfectly great shape who just took the vaccine and then died. So, and it was 2 people out of 7 million, I think you had taken it at that point. So you got to use your common sense. It's like, yeah. But again, how many people have actually died of COVID? It's a lot more than that.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, you have the governor of West Virginia basically saying, we're not going to have a vaccine mandate. We're just going to keep getting people out of, we're going to keep piling the body bags until enough people get vaccinated or enough people are immune. I'm like, okay, that's a way to look at it.
yeah, I mean, I guess that's all you can really do. But damn.
Yeah, that was a stark statement.
So you were in France. And hopefully, and the rates are going down there. I have no idea what the rates are doing anywhere, to be honest. I
think they're going down. There was this big protest that I watched. Well, I didn't watch it like it was up happening in this. I actually took a video, like people, like they were they were basically calling Macron like a dictator and all of that stuff, and I'm like, yeah, like you're gonna protest all you want, but you're gonna take the vaccine at the end of the day.
yeah. How does that work with like like if I went to Europe, I guess I could go if I just showed my vaccine card? If I like had like a actual proof that I was vaccinated? Do you know how that works?
So I know that a couple of weeks ago, maybe like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, the EU recommended that the US specifically be that the countries be basically they should have restricted travel from the US. Essentially, you have to even though you're vaccinated, you have to like still.
That's to be a reason other than I just want to hang out.
Not just that, like still take a test maybe within like 48 hours.
Oh yeah,
24 hours before you travel, just to show that you're negative and that you're vaccinated.
Yeah.
So something along those lines. But each of the countries are implementing them however they want. Some of the countries that are more reliant on tourism or whatnot, they stay a little lax, but they will still require you to either show that you're vaccinated or something like that. Like they're not.
Yeah.
And more of their own citizens are getting vaccinated anyway. So, if they are, there's vaccine hesitancy everywhere. But yeah, but it's not as crazy as it is in the US. I remember I got in a taxi and I was talking to this guy. He was basically saying like, that they they're telling us to go take the vaccine. Like, why do I need to take the vaccine? And I'm fit, I'm okay. Da, 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 da. And it went on and on. I was like, I was kind of like humoring him. And then at the end, I was like, so did you take the vaccine? He said, yeah. Like, yeah. Okay, that's cool. Like, I was like,
yeah. I mean, if you want to be mad about it, but I'm glad you took it. I mean,
I said, I have African blood in me. I'm like, you're African? He said, yeah, like, my parents are from Morocco, Algeria. I mean, this is Spanish, man, right?
Yeah.
He said, my parents are from, and he's probably like in his 50s. So I said, he said, I have African blood in me. Like, this vaccine is not gonna da 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 da. I was like, nah, it's gonna kill your ass.
Yeah, it's gonna kill your black. You're not even black ass, but we'll just call him black for the sake of the story. You be aight. Like, it'll kill your black ass.
I know. But I'm like, your ass got vaccinated. You're not sick, and you think it's because of your African blood, not because of the vaccine. Right?
Yeah, you need to take the vaccine.
I'm like, hey, that's a heck of a logic. But hey, do what you do. Do what you do.
Live your life.
You can believe what you want, as long as you do the right thing.
Yeah. Believe it's your African blood. Yeah, I don't know, but I got African blood in me. I still got vaccinated. I mean, I hope I'm right. I mean, I hope, but who knows? Maybe I'll, I don't know what the side effects are supposed to be, but maybe in a year or two, I'll be fucked up. But I feel fine, and I'm able to go to restaurants and shit that some people can't. So I'm happy about that. So I don't know. But
Yeah, man. Well, you have any last words, any last thoughts?
um, nah. Other than just if anybody has any questions about anything, or if you are unvaccinated or vaccinated, feel free to send us an email at ubiaight@gmail.com.
Do you think we should get someone on that is unvaccinated just to,
Just to like talk to them.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Actually, if you got your two people who are unvaccinated, I'd love to have a conversation with them.
I doubt they will want to come on, but I will try.
Trying to think of. I'm sure I know. There's one person I think of. I'm not super close with them, but I know they're an anti-vaxxer, and I didn't think they would be before all this happened. And I don't know. They annoy me too much. I don't know if I could take them on. It's way too annoying. I'm like, oh god. Yeah, I'll try to think if I know anyone. But people don't talk about it a lot either, or maybe I don't talk to people a lot. I don't know. How do you get this out of people? Do you just talking about it just comes up?
Yeah, I mean, I guess people also kind of know that I wouldn't necessarily judge them, like, dismiss them as well. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
um, like, yeah, like I actually, like I don't mince words in terms of my opinion, like which is crazy, but that kind of thing. But at the same time, like they know that I will listen to what they got to say. Like I'm not.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and I joke around a little bit on here, but I'd be happy to talk to them. I disagree, but I don't. It doesn't mean I hate them or think they're insane people. So yeah, I would love to have somebody on here. We'll see
I mean,
if.
for some of these folks, you may understand, like if they come on a podcast, that if you basically out yourself as a vaccine skeptic,
Yeah.
There is basically a way that, I mean, that you are gonna be looked at a certain way, right?
Right. Yeah. You have to have someone who doesn't give a fuck, who
Yeah,
is like who's proud and out as an anti-vaxxer and doesn't care, which is probably the person I'm thinking of. And I'm just like, I don't know if I can do that. But
you can reach out to them. I mean, is this person just gonna shout, just come in and yell at us?
no, they're actually not. They're actually not. So,
Yeah, just see if you get them on. Like, hey, I don't know, is that the kind of stuff we want to be talking about? And bringing on the vacuum on. Like,
all of a sudden we're like lumped in with like Ben Shapiro's show or whatever. If you like Ben Shapiro's show, you also might like Be Aiight. we get a whole new crowd. Look, we need listeners, so
do whatever. Nah, we're not gonna. I'm not gonna. No, I'm gonna talk to people just because I think they're interesting. Like,
yeah, no,
they will share or do something that I will learn something new, which you may learn from these people when you talk to them. The thing is, I've talked to a few folks that are vaccine skeptics, and I don't feel like they've made sense. Because the only thing because for me, because I actually think it's okay for you to be a vaccine skeptic, or for you to say, you know what, I'm a little afraid of this vaccine and I'm not going to take it, right? But if you make that decision and you also say, yes, I also know that the pandemic is real, like the virus is real, and because I'm afraid and I'm not taking it, I'm gonna continue to isolate myself, and that. Okay, that makes a lot more sense to me. That that there is that is logical. Like, okay, you just don't feel comfortable. Yeah, maybe at some point after you've done your research,
right.
Okay, well, or at least you're distancing or taking certain steps. But what doesn't make sense is some of these folks too, they now subscribe to other wacky stuff. Like it's not real, it's not as bad, it's not this, it's not that. Like, what does that mean? Yeah, like, I mean, this person is making money off of it. Like, okay, that is crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that tells me you you know you just have this belief and then you fitting everything else into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the thing. Like if you yeah, like if you're afraid of it, like maybe not afraid of it, if you're just not kind of like comfortable yet, because the vaccines are new, we can't pretend like they're not new technology, new blah, blah, blah. And even though they've been working on the technology for a while, they've done all of the research and all this research is ongoing. Some people claim that, because the FDA hasn't approved, that's why they're not taking. At least one person told me that. And of course, when the FDA approved, I'm like, and I called that and I'm like, you just full of shit. When the FDA approved, you're gonna find another reason why to not take it. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. And they're not taking it, right? They're still
yo,
like, yeah. No,
yeah,
I figured. Yeah. I mean, you know, I would talk to him for sure. I mean, I'm not one of those people that's like, oh my God, like because I realize being judgmental, I know I talk a lot of shit on the podcast, but being judgmental actually won't, it's not going to change someone's mind. If anything, it's just going to make someone double down more and be like, okay, I'm definitely not taking this thing. But it's just, I know I would just be curious to get their thought process, but I know I wouldn't actually like, my goal would not be to change their mind.
so that's the thing. If your goal is not to change their mind, you may just say, you know what, yeah, screw it. Like you can judge them all you want, like, and it is what it is. You judge them, yeah, sure.
Yeah, cool. All right. Well, maybe we'll try to get somebody on. See what we can do. Become a conservative podcast.
You have two black
Podcast show.
conservatives.
Yeah, that's hilarious. All right, y'all. Well, you have anything else you want to say?
Nah, man. Yeah, you stay vaxxed. Stay
Yeah,
safe.
and stay aight, y'all. All right, y'all be aight.
You be alright. Yup.
All right.